Tonight, an update on former President Jimmy Carter's health.
And a Murrow News 8 reporter went to WSU Veterans Day ceremony. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Yolanda Lee.
And I'm John Lee. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Tragedy has struck WSU Greek Road today. We have Murrow News 8 reporter Murrow Santos in front of the scene of the incident.
I'm outside Alpha Tau Omega, where a 19-year-old fraternity member died this morning. Other members of the fraternity performed CPR until Pullman police and medics from the Pullman Fire Department arrived on the property. Officials determined the male was dead upon arrival, and a preliminary investigation says the death may be alcohol-related. A chaplain from Whitman County and an official from WSU offered support and counseling, and the investigation is ongoing. I'm Murrow Santos, Murrow News 8. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Murrow. The afternoon, WSU IFC decided to suspend all social events for the remainder of the semester and urges all chapters to complete their new member education activities no later than this Friday. Unfortunately, this isn't the only college fraternity death in recent news. A freshman at San Diego State University from same fraternity, the team from WSU was a part of that on Sunday. According to KHQ News, 19-year-old Dayton Hardenis was hospitalized after attending a fraternity party last week. The university says police are still investigating the cause of death. San Diego State said it's possible fraternity misconduct after extemporaneous death. And Arizona State University officials says a male student was found dead on Monday in a dorm on ASU's campus. According to KTAR News, police detectives are investigating the death and no other information is available.
According to AAP News, former President Jimmy Carter, age of 95, is recovering Tuesday at Armoni University Hospital from surgery to relieve pressure from bleeding on his brain. Carter's spokeswoman says there were no complications from the procedure for the blood trapped on the brain surface. Carter's spokeswoman at the Carter Center says Carter will remain in the hospital for observation. The Carter Center says the bleeding was linked to Carter's recent falls. Carter was the 39th president of the United States from 1977 to 1981.
The country honored military members over the weekend for Veterans Day. Logan Plant went to WSU Veterans Day ceremony and saw the support for our local veterans.
Honor, sacrifice. WSU Region and military veteran Scott Carson says those are the four main pillars of what it means to be a veteran, and all of them were on Cougs Minds Friday at WSU's Veterans Day ceremony.
It's a lesson of commitment, it's a lesson of compassion, and it's a lesson of support.
In honor of Veterans Day, WSU's Student Veterans Committee partnered with the university to put on this event, where, after veterans and the NROTC marched from the mall to the Veterans Memorial, 3 guest speakers shared their thoughts on what it means to be a veteran.
Our goal is to leave the world a better place due to our relatively short time here. The military is a wonderful place to start, but shouldn't ever be the end point of the time of service that we use.
This wreath was laid at the beginning of Friday's ceremony, both to remember those who have served and honor those who have fallen. A moment of silence, followed by the playing of taps, echoed throughout the hills of Pullman as everyone paid their respects and their thanks to veterans. But the ceremony looked to the future as well, and speakers discussed the importance of supporting veterans when they come back home.
Lack of community and lack of schedule. They can tend to feel isolated. So that's, I think, the biggest thing about the Vet Center and the veterans community is just kind of trying to be that outreach to build that community.
Mann says the community for student veterans at WSU is steadily improving, and the student veterans are able to get their education while also carrying the weight and responsibility of being a veteran.
Every morning when you awake, you're a veteran. Every day for you is Veterans Day.
Logan Plant, Murrow News 8.
When we come back, Kevin Gonzalez has NFL highlights.
And find out how the Sounders did in the final match in MLS Cup when Murrow News 8 returns.
Days, months,
hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
So how about after
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing.
I don't know. I think
We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Going over now, talking about Seattle Sounders. Sounders held a parade today for the team winning the MLS Cup. The Sounders beat the Toronto FC 3-1 to give the team their second ever MLS Cup. The Sounders and Toronto have played each other in 3 of the last 4 MLS Cups, with the Sounders winning it in 2016 and Toronto in 2017. U.S. soccer star Megan Rapinoe added to her list of trophies for 2019 as she accepted Glamour's Woman of the Year award. This go along with taking home the Golden Ball Award for this year's Women's World Cup as the top player of the tournament. In her acceptance speech, she took time to praise the efforts of activists past and present. Coming up, Sean Connor has your weather. You might want to stick around.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no. This warrior will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back to Murrow News 8. The rain was back in Pullman today, but it has dissipated as of this time of newscast. 45 degrees is the high today. There's a chance of some evening snow today, but it's not expected to be that big of a deal. Not a lot of accumulation in the Pullman area. A low of 34 degrees, just above freezing. Wind right around 10 miles per hour, and a sunset at 4:18. As we look at tomorrow's weather, it's going to be cloudy all day with some lingering fog. Could make driving conditions difficult, so make sure to be careful and take your time on the roads. High of 48 and the low right at freezing at 32 degrees. We'll see some calmer winds to allow that fog to stay here in Pullman. Winds around 5 miles per hour. Sunset just a little bit earlier at 4:17. Let's take a look at the weather across the state. Very similar conditions across the state with rain everywhere but Yakima, the sole place with some sunshine in the state today. High of 48 in Yakima, low of 32. Across the state, we have highs on the east side between 40 and 45 degrees with freezing points, or lows rather, right around the freezing point. 31 in Spokane and the Tri-Cities, hovering right around 34 in Pullman, and rain and temperatures in the mid 50s and lows in the mid 40s on the west side. As we look at the 5-day forecast, cloudy conditions throughout the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have highs in the high 40s to low 50s with lows hovering around the freezing point, maybe a little higher as we get later in the week. with temperatures rebounding this weekend. 49 degrees is your high on Saturday, 56 on Sunday with clear skies in the morning because we'll see some rain on Saturday. We'll send it back to the desk with more.
Cold weather continues to envelop the eastern United States. Buffalo and Detroit saw 10 inches of snow this morning, records for both cities this time of year. Cities from Illinois to Kansas set record lows this morning. Schools were closed across New England today and delayed as far south as Alabama, where 20 school systems altering hours in anticipation of winter weather.
Coming up with a new kind of gene in South Africa.
When Murrow News 8 returns.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Hey, thanks for your patience. Thank you so much.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
The makers of South African gene name Indorvu say they use elephant dung to flavor their world-famous drink. According to AP News, makers got the idea from wildlife ranger who told them that elephant only digests about 30% of what it eats. Now don't worry, the droppings are dried, crumbled, and washes to remove dirt and sand. Thank you for watching. You be sure to follow our newscast nwv.org/MNA and Cable 8 at 7 and 10.
Thank you. Don't forget. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.